In certain instances, grappling with the immense sorrow accompanying the loss of a cherished individual can prove to be an arduous task. However, when it comes to animals, the question arises: how do they manage such emotional turmoil? Today's video explores the extraordinary manners in which two animals have navigated their grief, showcasing their remarkable coping mechanisms. Flora and Dexter. There are a lot of stories about animal friendships between two kinds of animals. A perfect example of a friendship like this is found in the story about Flora the dog and Dexter the cat. Flora and Dexter defied the odds of cats and dogs not getting along. Their friendship was truly special. Dexter, a 20-year-old cat, found a loving home with Flora and her family, giving him the chance to spend his remaining years in comfort. During the 2 memorable years they shared, Dexter not only found a warm and safe place, but also a loving family. Among the family members, Flora, an Alaskan Malamute adopted from the Best Friends Animal Society, was particularly captivated by Dexter. Their bond went beyond friendship. They were soulmates. Despite the significant size difference between an Alaskan Malamute and an elderly cat, Flora's love for Dexter was unconditional. The fact that Dexter was smaller and a cat didn't matter to her. She adored him, and he reciprocated the affection. Their deep connection was a beautiful sight to behold. They often spent time together, cuddling and resting side by side. However, the inevitable arrived, and Dexter passed away at the age of 22, having spent his final 2 years by Flora's side. Flora was left heartbroken by the loss of her beloved companion. Her family saw the dog's pain and were worried that Flora wouldn't be able to move on. To say that she was heartbroken is an understatement. According to her owner, Jill William from Canada, Utah, USA, Flora was beyond sad. She spent weeks outside howling, and she was so depressed. Her grief was understandable because, like herself, Dexter had become a big part of the Williams household and obviously an even bigger part of Flora's life. They had both come from the same shelter, were initially not loved much, and had finally found their forever home with the Williams family. They had developed such a strong connection because of their mutual faith. It's only natural that anyone would be grief-stricken by such a tragedy. The big dog was nowhere near the happy puppy she used to be when Dexter was around. The family couldn't bear to see their sweet Flora suffer anymore and came up with a plan that would help Flora overcome this great loss. Initially, they brought home 2 young cats from the shelter, thinking that Flora was in need of some cat loving, but it turns out that these 2 cats were not really into cuddling, at least not the amount Flora was used to. She still missed her Dexter and was still very sad. The family then opted for Plan B, which worked perfectly. Flora didn't need cats to fill the hole in her heart, but she needed perfect kittens, and so she became the foster mom to these kittens. The 4 little ones needed a place to stay temporarily, and the Williams family was happy to help. The family had set up a warm and safe place in one of the kids' rooms for them to stay in, and naturally, the kids were excited to host their small guests. At first, Flora was a bit apprehensive, but as the kittens were more and more relaxed around her, she also warmed up to them. They were named Iggy, Bowie, Roxy, and Glamour. Iggy was the first one out of the bunch who was brave enough to meet with Flora. With no hesitation, he went right up to her and sniffed at her nose. She gently brought down her face and sniffed him back, and immediately there was a smile on her face. Soon after, the other kittens followed their fearless sibling and also came to say hello to Flora. The tiny felines had slowly and carefully become acquainted with the huge dog, and it didn't take very long before they were no longer afraid of her. All the while they were sniffing her, Flora just calmly sat there taking in all that perfect loving. Glamour even started to climb on the huge dog, but Flora didn't mind at all. In fact, climbing on Mount Flora became a popular game for the naughty kittens. After a while, the feline siblings were adopted and went to live in the forever homes, but Flora isn't sad anymore. Flora, now a foster mom for other rescue kittens, provides cuddles and playtime to those in need. Though her best friend Dexter will never be replaced or forgotten, Flora finds solace in fostering 4 new kittens who serve as a welcome distraction from her sadness. She has regained her happiness, and it seems she will be alright. Another heartwarming story shared on Imgur revolves around an animal who experienced profound sadness upon the loss of her best friend. Scout, a tiny kitten, was rescued at approximately 5 weeks old. Her new home already housed a dog named Charlie, an older canine who had been overlooked in shelters due to his health issues. Nevertheless, his owners welcomed him with love and warmth, and when Scout entered the picture, something magical occurred. The two animals met and formed an instant bond. Scout saw Charlie as her protective guardian and never wanted to be apart from him. Despite their differences in size and strength, Charlie was gentle and kind to Scout. He allowed her to sleep anywhere she pleased, snuggled up against his warm furry body. Charlie didn't mind at all. He always accommodated Scout's desires and was incredibly agreeable. These two animals shared more than just sleep and meals together. Scout adored smelling Charlie's ear and giving him affectionate kitty baths, a gesture that Charlie welcomed. They became the closest of friends, inseparable and always by each other's side. Scout's love for Charlie was immeasurable, and they would often snuggle together, watching videos on the iPad. Their bond was undeniably adorable. Who could have imagined that a cat and a dog could form such a deep friendship? Sadly, Charlie's health deteriorated due to cancer, and he eventually crossed the Rainbow Bridge. His family and faithful companion, Scout, bid him a final farewell in the comfort of their home. Scout was devastated by the loss of her beloved friend, unable to comprehend the sudden absence and feeling overwhelmingly lonely. To alleviate her grief, the owner devised a thoughtful plan. They set up the iPad on the bed, where Scout and Charlie had once shared their loving moments. The iPad displayed videos of Charlie, and Scout responded with a touching reaction. As Scout watched the videos, she curled up next to the iPad, mirroring their usual closeness when Charlie was present. Although this gesture provided Scout with some solace, it couldn't compare to the warmth and free cuddles she used to enjoy with Charlie. One could easily sense the depth of Scout's heartbreak as she lay near Charlie's picture. Time passed, and Scout grew into a beautiful cat. But the memories of her cherished friend remained with her. Over time, the sadness within her gradually faded, yet a void persisted in her life, the absence of her dearest companion, Charlie. Scout's demeanor underwent a transformation, engaging in behaviors previously unobserved prior to Charlie's departure. Instead of shadowing Charlie's every move, she now trailed her owner, emitting purrs and meows, almost as if inquiring about Charlie's whereabouts and expressing the depth of her longing. Through her actions, Scout sought to convey her sorrow and the profound loneliness she experienced. Recognizing the profound significance Charlie held in Scout's life, her owner made the decision to introduce a new companion, Oswald, into their home to alleviate Scout's sense of isolation. Although Oswald was younger and exuberant, Scout did not object to his presence, leaving the possibility for him to become her new closest confidant. In their initial days together, Scout was the hyperactive one, with Charlie assuming the role of the older, more composed companion. Now, with the roles reversed, Scout may comprehend her position as the elder in the relationship and perceive the need to exhibit kindness and patience toward Oswald, just as Charlie had done for her. The bond shared between Charlie and Scout was an extraordinary and infrequent occurrence, particularly between cats and dogs. With hope, Scout will forge a friendship with Oswald akin to the profound connection she once shared with Charlie. While a best friend cannot be replaced, a new companion has the potential to bring joy and potentially heal a broken heart. This illustrates that, even though we may not fully comprehend animals' grieving processes for their loved ones, it is undeniable that they do experience loss in their own unique ways. Their behavior changes, similar to us humans, and they require time to heal and move forward.